Hello everyone, hope you're well and welcome to another Microsoft Flight Simulator video. And while me adjusting my seating position makes its way into this intro, let's sort of get right into it. So we're on the ground at Washington-Reagan National at the concourse, taking the as is clear as day, the PMDG 737 to Midway. So this is my second attempt at recording the video. I just ended up getting some really fat stutters on the approach into Midway. I don't know why, don't know how, but that's sort of beside the point. But yeah, I've wanted to show off the approach into Midway on this channel. It's a really fun one, and the wind at Chicago at the moment is preferential for 2.2s, and since we're coming from the east, we should get that really cool approach over the city of Chicago. So without further ado, let's get right to it. So I'm going to unmute my vPilot now, so you will hear some ATC chatter from now. Well, I say ATC chatter, it's advisory chatter, but again, you will hear some chatter. There's like an aircraft on final, so yeah. Anyway, I've downloaded a Heart livery pack off of flightsim.to, and included in it is our various Heart liveries, including November 938 Whiskey November, which is a livery designed to commemorate crew planners and analysts at the company, which I think is really nice. It's, you know, a good appreciation of what goes on behind the scenes, and not enough companies do that. So, that said, let's get in. Right, I've already fueled ourselves up. I've already set our payload and so on and so forth, loaded our route in, aligned our IRSs, and main reason for that is I want to make this about as quick as possible. Just to, again, I don't know why I had you know, that performance issue, but I reckon it might just be something to do with file size or OBS or something like that. But that's beside the point. So we're on the Wings 5 departure.
Reagan National Traffic, Delta 1731, short final, runway 1, Reagan National.
So we're on the. So if we can go to our route page here. So we're on the Wings 5 departure to RAMAY, and via QX72 to Hacks, Juliet 149 to Fort Wayne, and then the Pang 3 arrival via Fort Wayne onto runway 22 left, and then onto the RNAV Zulu runway 22. Fairly simple route. Again, I checked the TAF for Midway, and the weather conditions are envisioned to be somewhat similar. But with that said, we can go to our takeoff page and just keep that on there. In the meantime, there's another thing I should do. So since we're on the Wings 5 departure, we're basically doing an immediate left turn to heading 331 upon departure to avoid the no-fly zone beneath the airport. So I can sort of set that in the heading bug. VNav and LNav I can arm as well. So the heading bug is really just a backup here. Right, another thing I can do is set up the rest of the overhead. So I'll just run you through what I did so far. So turn the ELEX on, turn the window heats on, turn the seatbelt sign on, arm the emergency lights, make sure that guard is down. And we're still on ground power, we haven't turned the APU on. One thing I haven't done is turn the yaw damper on, which I will do now. And I suppose I can. You know what, we don't even need panel lights, it's alright. Right, what we can do now though is turn on that fuel pump, wait for that to pressurise, and turn the APU on.
Reagan National Traffic, Delta 1731, crossing runway 15 at Sierra, taxiing to the ramp. Hey, Reagan.
So cruising altitude today 360, and the elevation at Midway is about 620 feet, so we'll just set 600 into the little landing altitude window. Right, in the meantime, I'll set that to APU gen and TR1, and once the APU generator is doing its thing, I'll pre-plan the pushback in the meantime as well. So once the APU generator is doing its thing, we'll actually turn the generator on and the bleeds as well, just so we get some bleed air for our engine start.
And Reagan National Traffic, Delta 1731, clear of all runways.
Alright, fantastic. Okay. There's the gen, there's the bleed, kill the ground power, and we can also set the parking brake. Go to the other FNC, which is where I have my ground services stuff. We can release the aircon unit and the GPU, and also close our flight deck door. I think with that, well, the jetway gets rid of itself. So, then back to ground services, we can remove the chocks, chuck that onto the we can go to the menu page, chuck that onto legs and just keep it there. Awesome. Okay. With that said, we can turn our beacon light on and
cockpit to ground.
Toolbar pushback, full pushback.
Ground, stand by.
So I've checked VAS as well. According to VAS, we can do a I may as well show you on here. We can do a departure with only with D-rate 2, but with no flex temp on flaps 5. So that's exactly what we're doing today. I'll set the trim once we've turned the engines on and got hydraulics. So that'll be just a while. Okay, so we're actually pushing back a bit early. Not that I'm complaining, always very nice.
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed.
So Toolbar pushback do its thing, and yeah.
The parking brakes are set. You may lift.
Very short taxi with it.
Parking brake set. Lifting the aircraft.
And if you want an idea of how short our taxi is, we're here. The runway is there. So
we are cleared for start and push.
We good.
Okay, cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
Release parking brake.
Parking
and
brakes
we
are
can
released.
Squawk mode Charlie.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence. Yeah, we'll start in the sequence.
Start the block timer. Awesome. Okay. Back to the overhead. All the fuel pumps on. Packs can go off. That's all fine. And starting number 2. The start process hasn't changed with the update, which is actually why I'm actually making this video more to show off the update for the 737. So I think it's sort of more minor changes, but they are somewhat noticeable. It's like you'll see the flap lever animation is a lot smoother than it used to be. The sounds are a bit different as well, which is always very nice. There we go, there's engine number 2 springing to life. And if we go to the wing view, you can just hear that humming away. Right, soon we'll hear a click from the engine 2 starter. So that's a successful start on number 2, and we can start number 1. Same as before, wait for N2 to reach about 20% and then bring the fuel in.
Okay, pushback completed. Please set your
Set the parking brake.
Parking brake set.
18, 19, 20.
Set. Lowering aircraft. Ground. You may disconnect.
And there's the rest of the start process.
Clear to
Awesome.
disconnect. Pin has been removed. See you at the side.
The only warning we've got on there is
Holding
elect,
position
but that's
waiting for the
fine.
visual. Thank you and
just needs to
goodbye.
do with engine generators more than anything. Right, I'll put that to Gen 1, just for the time being. So once we get a reading there, which we do now, switch to the engine generators. APU generator can go off, which it already is. Engine bleeds can go on, APU bleed can go off, packs can go back to auto. That's fine, and the APU can go off. Awesome. Propeats, although they're auto, good practice to turn that switch on anyway. Unable 230 at rev, okay, that's alright. It's the maximum restriction anyway. Okay, so, flight control check, rudder full left and full right. And then just our yoke checks. So our flight controls are free and correct. That's all very good. Okay. So, flaps 5. You can see the flap lever animation, that's a lot smoother now. And our trim is about 6.1. So we'll just set that a smidgen above 6. And that looks about fine. Okay, cool. Flaps are coming out. We can set the auto brakes to RTO. Parking brake, we can disengage. We can turn our taxi lights on and be on our way. And obviously, since it's advisory, we'll also let any traffic know of our movements, which I shall do now. So, Reagan National Traffic Southwest 2507, taxiing to holding point runway 1 via Kilo Charlie crossing runway 4 on Alpha, and then Juliet to holding point runway 1, Reagan. Okay. No objections. No one on final. Life's good. Just making sure I actually have vPilot turned on. Right, no one at Washington appears to have gone online as well. So, nor have I been told to contact anyone from vPilot, so here's hoping. Right, there's Bravo. We're making the right turn onto Charlie, which is just coming up there. We're crossing 4 on Charlie. And for that, we can turn our strobes on. Oh, that was certainly a stutter. Don't know where the hell that came from. That almost scared the life out of me. Anyway. Here we go. Love the texture in this livery, it's really, really nice. Okay, one thing we can also do is set our engine start switches to continuous. And we'll be using the full length of runway, so once we're here we'll turn into holding bay 1, which is here. There we go. And what we can do as well is set our TCAS to T8 RA, and I don't know why that's not on 1200, but it should be. Keep the strobes on for now as well. Well, we're going onto the runway, so we have to have our strobes on. And Reagan traffic, Southwest 2507, departing runway 1 on the Wings 5 departure, Reagan. Okay, no objections, once again. Landing light can go off, turn-offs can go on, taxi light can go off. That's all fine. Okay, perfect, so just making the left turn. Just hoping I don't sort of muck up the braking and leave us standing still on the runway. That'd be kind of counterproductive. In any case, I actually won't do a rolling start on this one because the runway is just that short, so right, that looks fine. Brakes on. Just make sure everything is set, which I hope it is. So TCAS CARA. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay. I did say it's a short taxi, 7 minutes from push to line up. With that, let's go. Thrust to about 40, start the block timer. Wait for that to stabilise. And toga. Push the yoke down a bit. Oh, that's gorgeous. Thrust set. Airspeed alive. Let's just keep ourselves centered on the runway.
V1. Rotate.
Go. Awesome.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. So again, there's a no-fly zone just to the north of the airfield. So we're pretty much turning left straight away over the Potomac. And you can see why there's a no-fly zone. The Washington Monument is there, and near the Washington Monument is, well, both the capital, the capital, the White House, and the Supreme Court are all in that bit of DC. So it's sort of fairly understandable as to why there are no-fly zones. Okay, with that, flaps 1. Can disarm the auto brake. Set the engine start switches to off and bring all the flaps up. Awesome. Okay, and we can go into showcase. Well, we've just missed it, but if we have a look outside, there's DC. There's where we just took off from. There's DC, there's the airport, there's DC. Okay, you get the idea. But always a very exciting departure out of DC. Right, with that, we can also now find these in our map. You know what? 320 on there, 160 on there. Although, you know what? For the time being, I think I'll just keep this a bit more zoomed in, just so we can have a look at our nav paths. Okay, so landing gear we set to off, auto brakes are disarmed, flaps are all the way up. LNAV and VNAV doing its thing. Turn off so we can also turn off. Landing lights will keep on until 10,000. And engine start switches we've just set to off. Rest of the lights all look fine. Seatbelt sign will keep on until, until we've just made this left turn. So that should hopefully be the last sort of big left-hander on this departure. Oh yeah. That is gorgeous. Awesome. Right. So we're straight enough now for me to turn off the seatbelt sign. Well, do this just as we go into cloud, but ignore that. Sync the heading bug. Yeah, just keep on 291. There's 10,000, so landing lights can all go off. And as we hit our acceleration altitude, we've successfully departed DC. Let's hope the arrival into Midway will be near enough as successful, if not better. Or at least better than it was the first time I tried recording the video. With that being said, enjoy the cinematics, and I will see you for the arrival. Hello everyone and welcome to P-Soup. Well, just about clearing P-Soup. There's Lake Michigan. We're just inbound to a waypoint called German on the on this pang-free arrival into Midway. Now what we're doing now is well first of all, that's Lake Michigan over there. We're just to the east of Gary, Indiana. There's Gary Airport over there. And what we'll be doing is we'll be transitioning from this arrival to the RNAV Zulu for a runway 22 into runway 22 left into Midway. So before I sort of get started, Midway's runways are very short. The entire airport is crammed into what is effectively a square mile of land, and you know, I'll just take speed and speed, and they just keep us going at 250 knots. There are speed restrictions on this arrival, but not yet. So that's our first speed restrictions at Sales, which is at 210. So. Yeah, okay, we'll keep setting to 3000 as obviously mandated by the arrival. You can zoom that in as well. Awesome. Okay. Now Midway Airport is literally crammed into a square mile, and that's not an exaggeration, it actually is crammed into a square mile. So, as a result, the runways will be very short. Auto brake free for landing will more than suffice, and we can go to our init ref page and we'll be landing with flaps 40. Now we are ridiculously light. We've only got about 94 passengers plus luggage on board. So we've got a really low VREF, which is quite something. But it makes it all the easier for us. So we can have a quick look at our overhead. One thing I do want to do is turn some panel lights on because it is starting to get a bit cloudy. Main panel, and that panel. Awesome. Okay, reset the camera view. Now, again, so landing flaps 40 with auto brake free should, in theory, allow us to vacate in good time, or rather should allow us to vacate without blasting through the threshold into the fence on the other side. But I digress. So at steer is where I want to, or even before steer is where I want to start my deceleration. So as opposed to, you know, sort of following restrictions to a T, I'll start decelerating a bit earlier. So below 250 we can effectively set flaps 5, but I'll set flaps 2 for now just to bleed the speed off a bit. And you know what, actually I can set flaps 5, why not? Awesome. But now we make a left hand turn over Lake Michigan. The city of Chicago itself is over there, and we're basically flying a beam it to then intercept the RNAV course, which is always very nice. So heading at 22 left is 227, and while it is an RNAV approach, I still set that anyway. Oh, excuse me. And one thing I can also do before I forget is set my decision altitude, which in our case is 960 feet. So some very quick scrolling. Yep, some very quick scrolling. 670, 80, 90, 700, 750, 800. Mouse wheel in trouble. There we go, 900, 950, 960. Awesome. Okay. Now hopefully it won't stutter as badly as it did yesterday, because that was actually quite scary. Right, we are below 10,000, we can turn our landing lights on. And another thing I will do is just keep slowing us down. I'll slow us down to about 180. Here's the altitude alert. So these next waypoints are all mandatory 3,000, so we'll basically be staying at 3,000 until we intercept that descent path to the runway. Okay, flaps 10. Just give us a bit of extra drag and a bit of extra lift, since we are starting to sort of creep into low speed territory, and we can actually perform the rest of our landing flows. So go up, turn off lights can go on, engine start switches to continuous. You know what, I'll turn the logo light on as well, given it's a bit cloudy. Seatbelt signs on, that's perfect, and everything else looks a-okay. Awesome. And there it is, Chicago. Hello, hello. Never get tired of this view. Just a shame it's a bit grey today, but they don't call this a windy city for nothing, do they? With that, we also have the airfield in sight. Midway is just over there. But we can reset our MCP altitude to 2500. That would be a drag required warning, which is alright. So the aircraft will keep us at around 3,000 for now, as it should. We can also sync the heading bug while we're at it. No objection from anyone on frequency. There's O'Hare as well, I didn't realise you could see it from there. O'Hare with all of its runway lights. Incredible. Another thing we can do is arm approach mode, just so it will you know, intercept that quote-unquote glide path and that LNAV path. So what on earth is it trying to intercept? I've got an RNAV setting. Why is it trying to intercept an ILS? Oh well. Disarm the approach mode. You know what? No, we'll arm approach mode, why not? Wait a minute. Never mind, no, it's trying to arm the wrong approach. That's really strange, it's never done that. No, it's actually... Yeah, you know what? So VREF 122 will fly at 127 to bring the gear down and have that sort of follow the VNAV path. Don't know why it's not tuned the approach in, but it usually just does that on its own. Right, bringing out all the flaps. Right, our speed brakes are armed. Okay, just have that follow the path for now.
Glide slope.
Just cancel that glide slope warning. Okay, what we can do as well is disengage the autopilots and the auto throttle. Right, my aircraft. Keep us on the glide, or rather on the VNAV path. Now this approach path is a bit offset, which is actually kind of strange. But nevertheless, 2 red, 2 white, always very nice, and no stutters yet, which is also very nice. So approaching minimums. Continue. Go now, we make a slight left-hand turn, bit low, but that's fine. Just correct ourselves. It's nice headwind for us as well. Roll the wings level.
50. 30.
It's a bit heavy on the flare, but
10.
yeah. There we go. Touchdown. Reverses. Speed brakes up. Decel. And manual braking. And slow reverses. Awesome. Disarm the speed brakes. Stop the block timer. And welcome to Midway. That was actually not so bad. Right, let's get ourselves cleaned up. All the flaps go in. Spoilers go up. Landing lights and turn-offs can go off. Can set the engine start switches back to off. Strobes will keep on for now, since we'll be crossing a fair few runways. You know what, I'll make this next transmission on voice. So, we actually vacated a bit earlier than I thought we would, which is always very good. Midway traffic, Southwest 2507 vacated, runway 22 left, now taxiing to the terminal via Yankee and crossing the 3-1s at Yankee. Okay, I thought I'd turn the static aircraft off, but I guess I didn't. Okay. Well, that's just reminded me to look at my Orbex folder when I close this in. Okay. In the meantime, we can turn the APU on and just continue taxiing. So. Okay, fantastic. So, the APU should be starting. We've had no objections off of anyone on frequency. We can turn our transponder back, we can turn our TCAS back to standby. Is the APU firing up, which is always very nice. You know, strobes will keep on as well. Yeah, as I said, I'm fairly sure I turned the static aircraft off. Might just be because I reinstalled it. Oh well. Well. Oh, there's some traffic there as well. Nice. And I'll be taking a stand... You know what? Strobes off. I'll take this stand over here. Why not? Okay, yeah, there's definitely a reason I turned the static aircraft... Well, quote-unquote static aircraft off. That one is animated to move. But yeah, there is a reason you turn these off. They are quite the performance here. Okay, back outside. And yep, that's perfect. Okay, parking brake on. Into the cockpit and just quick look at our overhead. Switch to the APU generator and the APU bleed as well. Okay, and engine 1 and 2, good night. So, menu, FS actions, ground services, set the chocks, turn the seatbelt sign off, request a GPU, and just set those to 0 as well for when we deboard. So 0, 0, 0. Okay, we'll crest a jetway, and we can also request the aircon unit once that becomes available. Any second now. There we go. Okay, request start. And request the carts as well. So if we take a look outside, the jetway hasn't started moving, but that's fine. Jetway. Okay, there it comes. Back to the FMC. Menu, FS actions, doors, open. Another thing we can do actually is turn the beacon light off. Completely forgot about that. Okay, switch to ground power. Go back to menu, FS actions, ground services, and we can begin deplaning. And yeah, we'll just sort the carts out once you know, once it becomes a thing. You can turn those fuel pumps off, given the APU only feeds off of left aft. You know what, actually? You can turn the APU off as well. Packs off and isolation valve open. Awesome. Oh, and probe heats as well, they can go off. Awesome. Okay. Well, took me 2 attempts, and we've made it to Midway in the second attempt, which is always very nice. Again, apologies for the stutters. I thought I'd turned the static aircraft off, but as it turns out I didn't. Again, that's kind of my fault, so please do bear with me. Hope you enjoyed this video anyhow, and as always, feedback and so on and so forth are all very much appreciated. And I shall see you for the next video. Take care, and goodbye.